Everyone, and welcome to another episode of Sports Talk Tasha. Thank you guys so much for watching my videos and subscribing to my YouTube Sports Talk Tasha. Today we are going to talk somewhat NFL. There's a news headline today that the owner of Papa John's is basically criticizing the NFL, saying that the NFL protests have been hurting his business and pizza sales are down because of the NFL protests, and he's disappointed in the NFL or whatever it is. So today we are going to address the NFL protests and Mr. Papa John himself. Thank you guys so much for listening to Sports Talk Tasha. Please subscribe to my YouTube and follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Sports Talk Tasha. Here it is. The founder of Papa John's is criticizing the NFL, saying that it is hurting his pizza sales, these NFL protests. First of all, my G, what do you mean? If anything, let's say that the protests were hurting anything, it would be the NFL. You are trying to blame these NFL players and their fight for civil rights and their fight against oppression of minorities. You're trying to blame that for your lack of business, your pizza sales going down. Give me a break. Yes, I know you are one of the NFL sponsors, but you can't possibly think for a second that I would, or anybody who has the wherewithal to believe that your pizza sales are going down because of NFL protests. This sounds a lot like when Dan Snyder said that 96% of Americans don't agree with the NFL protests. Come on, son. Y'all have got to be kidding me. It is out of control, the lengths that you are going to. All of you multimillionaires and billionaires are going to try to discredit these protests. These guys are really fighting for equality, and that is a problem. It's affecting your pizza sales. Honey, I'll tell you one thing. So in the beginning, when I realized that Mr. Papa John was a Donald Trump supporter, I was like, oh, but I really like that pizza, so I let it slide. I'm not letting it slide anymore. Absolutely no way that I can ever support anybody who does not believe that fighting for equality and civil rights for all Americans is a problem because it affects your pizza sales. Really? You and your pizza can go to hell. That's how I really feel about your pizza. In congruence to this, I've also seen a lot of people when the Patriots went ahead before the trade deadline and they traded Jimmy Garoppolo to the 49ers. A lot of people were saying that Colin Kaepernick, who is the person who started the NFL protest, they were saying that Cap had a possibility of going to the Patriots as a backup quarterback. Let me make something perfectly clear to you guys. Colin Kaepernick is never playing in the NFL again. And that's the sad truth of it. He has been 100% blackballed. Per the words of Warriors coach Steve Kerr, he can recognize that Colin Kaepernick has been blackballed. Anybody in the NBA knows that Colin Kaepernick has been blackballed. But the NBA, like Kerr said, is a different market. It caters to a different market than the NFL. So that's why, the NBA is more understanding of anthem protests and stuff like that. However, I need you guys to really, really sit down and absorb this. Colin Kaepernick is never playing in the NFL again. Not only is Colin Kaepernick not playing in the NFL again, Colin Kaepernick's purpose at this point, and this is my opinion, is that it has transcended the NFL. What Colin Kaepernick is doing for awareness of injustice and oppression of minorities is far and beyond what many of our civil rights leaders have done over several decades. Our civil rights leaders got really, really comfortable after the 60s. They got some stuff. So all was good and all was not good. So now you fast forward all these years, it's 50 plus years, and then you have somebody who's actually standing up for it, and people are really uncomfortable, which is why Colin Kaepernick is not going to play in the NFL anymore. But like I said, Cap's purpose has transcended the NFL. Now, I know that this man loves football and has played football his entire life, but the sad truth of it is that he will not be able to play in the NFL anymore. And he certainly was never going to the New England Patriots, because let's be honest, Robert Kraft is a huge Donald Trump supporter, donated $1 million of his own money to Donald Trump's campaign, and basically has gloated about how Donald Trump was there for him when his wife died. Now, I know your wife dying was a very traumatic experience, but because this man has been there for you when your wife died, this is the reason why Robert Kraft is always going to excuse his absolute ludicrous behavior and never say anything. That's his friend. That's his, for lack of a better word, that's his homeboy. So no, number one, Papa John's, you're a buffoon. Number two, Colin Kaepernick, your purpose in life, unfortunately, and fortunately at the same time, is no longer the NFL. You have transcended that. You are our civil rights leader of the 21st century. You are paving the way to do things that so many of our leaders have not done in such a long time. And number three, Colin Kaepernick, unfortunately, is never playing in the NFL again. And the NFL owners are going to make sure of it. And it is what it is. But to my viewers, to my subscribers, please make sure that Papa John really feels the sting of his pizza sales going down, because it has nothing to do with Anthem protests. It has to do with the fact that this man does not care about civil rights for all Americans. This man does not care about the oppression of minorities. He cares about his pizza sales. So it is what it is. He is in collusion with the NFL to try to shift the blame again, to try to make it seem like his pizza sales are affected. No, it's another ploy. It's another distraction. It's another tool for these multimillionaires, for these rich guys who don't give a jack sprat about poor people in general, to get their point across. We see right through you, Mr. Papa John. Your pizza sales are going down.